The call to the honourable member for Calare.
To the Treasurer. The government recently released its draft regulation on cash transactions, which only provides that cash has to be accepted for transactions of $500 or less and only at big supermarkets and major fuel retailers. With respect, it's a dud. It's the green light for the phasing out of cash in Australia. Why won't you support my private member's bill, which would apply to all businesses and all face-to-face transactions of $10,000 or less, and which would truly keep cash king in Australia?
Call to the Treasurer.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker, and thank you to the honourable member for his question. The Albanese government is taking steps to ensure that Australians can use cash to pay for more of the essential items that they need, Mr Speaker. And in saying that, I acknowledge from the outset that the honourable member would like us to go further than we are proposing to go. There are good reasons why we've settled on the model that we have settled on, and I'll run through those reasons in a moment. But I remind the honourable member that there is currently nothing preventing any business in Australia from refusing to accept cash, and we consider that situation to be unacceptable. That is the status quo that we've inherited. That's the status quo that we are changing, because we know that cash still plays an important role in the lives of many Australians. Right now, there's no obligation, and we're changing that. We take seriously the issues the honourable member and others have raised with us. Now, in 2022, we know that the Reserve Bank found that around 7% of Australians still use cash for the majority of their in-person purchases. But we also know that many of those cash users are older Australians and also Australians living in rural and regional communities like those represented by the honourable member. So last year we said we would introduce a cash acceptance mandate for the first time, and we're delivering on that promise. From the 1st of January, we're ensuring that Australians can buy their fuel and groceries by mandating cash acceptance for essential purchases through a mandatory industry code under the Competition and Consumer Act. Now, this follows extensive consultation. Earlier this year, we received 61 submissions from organisations, 4,000 from individuals. We met with a range of organisations about it. Now, we know that there's a balance to be struck here between ensuring that Australians can use cash to pay for essentials, but also we don't want to place unnecessary burdens on small businesses, particularly small businesses in the regions. And after that extensive consultation, we think that we've got the balance right. Now, we've also committed to reviewing the mandate after 3 years to ensure it's functioning as it's supposed to. We'll consider then whether it should be expanded. We'll look at its impact on businesses of all sizes and any developments in cash distribution and access at that time as well. We do know that for many Australians, cash is more than a payment method. It can be a lifeline. That's why we are taking the steps that we are taking to make sure that more businesses in this country have to accept cash for essential items. And that is a very substantial change, a very substantial improvement on the status quo that we inherited.
Yeah. Give the call to the honourable member for Adelaide.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, my question is to the Treasurer. What is the Albanese Labor government and the regulators doing to protect Australian consumers against misleading and deceptive conduct in the technology sector?
Give the call to the Treasurer.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. Thanks to the member for Adelaide, not just for his question, but for standing up for consumers in his beautiful part of the world and indeed right around Australia. Yesterday, the ACCC launched legal proceedings in the federal court against Microsoft for allegedly misleading about 2.7 million Australians when communicating subscription options and price increases after it integrated its AI assistant Copilot into Microsoft 365 plans. Now, since the 31st of October last year, Microsoft told subscribers it would renew subscriptions and customers would need to either accept it or cancel their subscription. And the ACCC alleges this was false and misleading because a third option wasn't disclosed. Now, Mr Speaker, whether it's the regulators or this government, we take these sorts of developments very seriously. This case is currently before the courts, and for that reason I won't comment on the specifics, but I will say this. There is no place for dodgy and deceptive behaviour like that being alleged in this case. If it's proven that this has happened, it amounts to deception on an industrial scale. So this week, the regulator has sent a powerful message to tech companies. We won't let Australians be treated like mugs. Now, Mr Speaker, I spoke to the ACCC Chair about these matters today. My office was briefed on Sunday. We're very grateful for the efforts of the good work of the people at the ACCC to safeguard Australian consumers. We're also helping them hold tech companies to account by increasing the maximum penalty for this kind of behaviour by 5 times to $50 million. But we also know, Mr Speaker, that the job is not done, and that's why we're doing more work to ban unfair trading practices under the Australian consumer law. Now, our changes will address a wide range of dodgy practices, including traps that make it difficult or confusing to cancel a subscription, hidden fees and charges at different stages of a purchase, deceptive or manipulative practices online, actions that make it difficult for people to report problems with their products or services. Now, this is about easing the cost of living and getting a fair go for consumers and suppliers. And here I want to pay tribute to my colleague, the Assistant Minister for Competition, for his work in this area. He's doing a mountain of work when it comes to the consumer law. I appreciate it. I pay tribute to him for that, and I thank him for that as well. He's just written to his state and territory colleagues to seek their agreement to these reforms. Mr Speaker, accelerating technological change is a big opportunity for Australian businesses and workers and consumers, but it can't come at any cost. We need to make sure it works for people, not against people. That's why so much of our economic policy is focused on maximising the benefits while we minimise the risks of emerging technology, including the work by the Minister for Industry, the Member for Parramatta, and also this week on copyright by the Attorney-General.